Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Sunny, aka the Oracle of Alexandria, and today I am doing an unboxing and review for the Sambucus Tarot. Now, the Sambucus Tarot is another deck by Woe Studio, the same studio that did the Broken Mirror Tarot, and the artwork is actually very similar. So if you enjoyed that deck, you may also enjoy this one. This version of the deck is the limited edition version though, so the coloring is a bit different on the cards. So the deck that you might be able to get might have different coloration, and I believe it's pastel, pink and purple and green like this. This is kind of the color scheme of the standard edition of the deck. So the deck we're going to be looking at today is the limited edition, and yeah, so that might be something to consider, that it might be difficult to get a hold of a copy of the limited edition for yourself. But if you like the deck, you like the artwork, I think, you'll probably enjoy it even in the standard edition coloring. So with that said, if you get a copy of this deck and it doesn't come in a two-piece box, then it's not an official version of the deck. It's probably a bootleg copy. And that's okay. Right, so that's how it works. There's nothing in there, no extra artwork or anything, just two pieces of the box, and then the cards come with a plastic band keeping them in place, and another guidebook that is, well, it's better than just having a little white book, but it has all of the same issues as the instruction book for the Broken Mirror Tarot. So in this one, they actually didn't include the page numbers, so the fact that there is no table of contents doesn't make a big difference. Also, the general presentation is similar, but not as poetic or fanciful as the other one. This one is much more straightforward, and it does include a little bit of extra info here, just like the other one, about what the symbolism might mean in a reading. So it is a very nice book. I would say not as nice as the other one, just because the presentation is much more direct. Whereas the other one was actually kind of enjoyable to read because of how it really tries to immerse you in the story that they're telling you through the deck. So anyway, and then like the first one, this one is also English and Chinese, and generally it's the text goes side by side in both languages. So yeah, and you can see here the minors are really minimal in terms of the information that you're going to get. So with that out of the way, I would like to show you something that drew me to this deck, and that is the beautiful edging. That lovely kind of holographic rainbow. And the camera really isn't doing it justice with how it looks. There's so much depth and beauty to it. It is kind of picking up a little bit of the rainbow effect, but it really is lovely. And even once it's shuffled, this unique edging still looks really interesting. It's not as cool because the geometric shapes aren't really intelligible anymore, but still, it looks pretty awesome. I really love it. Alrighty. Let's see, I'll zoom in a little bit more. And then just like with the Broken Mirror Tarot, we will, take, a deep dive into the art where applicable. This deck seems a bit more glossy. It's actually difficult to kind of keep the glare from my light off the cards. And it has the same thin playing card cardstock, and also the same Tarot of the Divine texture on the cards and everything. So if that is an issue for you, if that is a deal breaker, I totally understand. I really just loved the art. It was so unique from all of the other tarot decks that I'm seeing in the West right now, which are mostly like photo collage kind of digitally edited things, and which are pretty, but I've already got a few of those. And I really liked the uniqueness of this deck. You can see, if you watched the Broken Mirror Tarot video, this one just has more like an animated aesthetic. It doesn't have the stained glass window look of the Broken Mirror Tarot, but it is still very beautiful. It still has a lot of personality in the cards. I really like the little dog there. So no shark like on the Broken Mirror Tarot's Fool and stuff. Just pretty much your basic symbolism for the Fool, just a different take on it. And then the Magician. So these, you can tell it's done by the same artist, and it is beautiful. It does have a lot of character, and I really like it. But it doesn't really have all the charm of the Broken Mirror Tarot, and I can't really put my finger on why, other than the art maybe isn't as detailed, like with the deep backgrounds and stuff. So here we have the High Priestess, of course, and I really do love this card. It is a very beautiful take on the High Priestess. I actually really love her sitting in the moon, and then, of course, carrying the scroll that she is often depicted with, and so on. The Empress. And just like in the Broken Mirror Tarot, we have the Empress and just the Empress this time, if I could speak. We have the Empress in profile, but I guess the Emperor is actually facing us this time, so we don't get to see his kingdom like we did with the Broken Mirror Tarot. But it's still pretty awesome. You've got the ram there. You've got a fairly typical king figure, emperor figure. And then the Hierophant. You kind of have a very similar thing going on in this version of the Hierophant as you had in the Broken Mirror Tarot, except the Hierophant himself is not so large, and the temple structure, the church structure, is very much looking quite a bit smaller in scale. So these worshippers don't so much look like they're worshiping at the church so much as, like, prostrating for the Hierophant. I'm not sure. Anyway, here is a good example of what the art looks like in the standard version. And this is the Lovers. And there's a lot of pink, there's a lot of red. I think the main difference in this card between the limited and the standard is that the sky is actually a light blue in the standard version, and then here, of course, you have that brown color that goes through the whole deck. But I don't know, I love pastel colors. The standard version just didn't really resonate with me. I liked the darker coloring for some reason. And of course, here we have the Chariot, and I love when the Chariot is pulled by unicorns. Oh man, I really, really love that. So, I don't know, are you seeing it too, that the art is nice, but not as detailed, or maybe not as beautiful as the Broken Mirror Tarot? So this is Strength, of course. Pretty standard Strength. And then the Hermit. And I am very sorry about the glare. There's really not much I can do about that. I only have the one light. And any other lights I could try would probably glare worse and not be as bright, so you wouldn't be able to see as clearly. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. And in this one, it looks like we have like maybe some sort of succubus woman on the top left, and then the eagle on the top right, and then the bull on the bottom left, and the lion on the bottom right. So I can't remember is it usually a woman or an angel or something? Like I can't remember what the fourth figure on the Wheel of Fortune usually is, but pretty standard Wheel of Fortune, and also a pretty standard Justice card. I do really like the addition of these it's hard to see because it's light gray on this brown background, but those kind of floaty, ethereal elements to the card. They're very beautiful. And they certainly add a nice personality to the artwork. Here we have the Hanged Man. I can't tell if that's meant to be a bird. Yeah, it's a bird lying there, but anyway. And then we have Death. And I think that's the Hierophant there, and it is a nice, version of the Death where it shows you that no one is above the power of death. Then we have Temperance, which has, again, it's very similar to the Temperance that we saw in the Broken Mirror Tarot, except these figures look a little more androgynous. So the angelic figure pouring water from the base could be masculine, could be feminine. It's kind of hard to tell because there aren't a lot of distinguishing features. And then the same with this one, like the hair is longer too, which not that feminine people have to have long hair, and the outfit could be like a sort of skirt or dress outfit. It's really hard to tell, but I actually kind of like that since it makes it a little more versatile in a way. But it's also interesting because usually you just have the angel with the two cups, and here we have again the two figures, sort of that similar polarity looking aesthetic, but not really the same execution. And then of course we have the devil, very standard devil. I do like it. I love the colors, and the art in general is really nice. We kind of have, again, remember if you watched the Broken Mirror Tarot video, the man in that deck was kind of reaching up towards a woman who was in a boat, and there was like a chain hanging from the boat. And so here we kind of have that same motif, again, just a different version of it. And then the tower. So this time the lightning is actually striking the tower. There's also really beautiful kind of abstract lightning in the background, clouds, the waves. It's really pretty. It's fairly simple and straightforward for a tower, depiction. But there's enough going on in the image that it's not boring. And here we have another, looks like maybe a gender swapped star again. So I guess maybe the artist for that deck just likes having a masculine figure on the star. And here we have the moon is much more traditional this time, with the kind of looks like just two dogs or two coyotes or something, two wolves, but you also have a scorpion instead of a lobster, which I believe Is Scorpio one of the signs on the... I'm not very good with astrology yet, so you have to forgive me, but yeah, still it's interesting. And then we have the sun. I really love the way they always have a face on the sun. And then here we have, I'm assuming this is probably meant to be a child. It kind of looks like a chibi figure though. And then of course you have beautiful sunflowers in the background there. Like, I really love those. And even little flowers in the dirt there. Then we have Judgment. So again, we have the kind of angelic figure blowing the horn, and then we have the sheep. So apparently that is what the artist likes to depict the figures maybe being called, if not resurrected. Sorry, I can't tell if there are people talking outside or dogs or what. It's only like 10:30 at night. You would think it would be nice and quiet, but no. Okay, so here we have the world, and yeah, again, we have a feminine figure in the top left. So apparently, that is the normal figure for the Wheel of Fortune. And then, of course, you've got the eagle. I really love how she is encased in an egg, a bit more literally than the usual wreath around the figure in the world in the Rider Waite deck makes it seem. I think that's very beautiful. Then we have the Ace of Wands. And this is the order of the deck that came from the factory. And I kind of couldn't put it in another order and make it work because of the way the gilding is on the edge of the card, the way the edging is. So the order of the minor suits is the order that came from the manufacturer. We have the Two of Wands. Very beautiful. The Three of Wands. And I don't know how well you can see it, but I really love those kind of ethereal... The way the wand is glowing, it almost looks like magic flowing from the wand or something, but they also look like leaves and flowers kind of blowing in the wind. So I really love that. It gives it a very magical, ephemeral quality to it that is really beautiful. The Four of Wands. So this is kind of a different take. But I mean, you know, it's fine to be a self-made woman and celebrate your victories and stuff. Like, I think that is awesome. All right, and then we have a Five of Wands. It's interesting how all of the figures look identical. I wonder if there's meant to be, you know, something to that in the art. It's an interesting design choice. The Six of Wands. We like the purple flowers there in the background. Like, these are much more plain, at least to me, than the Broken Mirror Tarot. But I feel like the artist included enough going on in the card that they're not dull. They may be a bit more plain, but they still have a lot of charm and character in the artwork. So this, of course, is the Seven of Wands. Very standard Seven of Wands. Very standard Eight of Wands. Very standard Three of Swords coming up. Okay. Then we have the Nine of Wands. I like the brighter colored clouds here. It definitely seems more hopeful. having brightly colored clouds in the background. Like, you can persevere, you can do it, believe in yourself. And then, of course, you have the Ten of Wands, which I think, that's actually kind of a nice way to use cross symbolism. I'm really not big on cross, symbolism or Christian symbolism in general in my tarot decks, due to just issues with family and friends who were Christian. But I do think that using it the way they did for the Ten of Wands actually really makes sense, and it really works. So this doesn't really bother me. And then, of course, we have the Page of Wands. It's hard to tell. It kind of looks like that's a flute, but it could also be a wand, and it's growing a little sprout out of it. Now, I really like that these knights actually have their horses again. So that's pretty awesome. And the horse on this one is really beautiful. Sometimes these patterns in the background kind of remind me of, if any of you may have read the Sailor Moon manga, Naoko Takeuchi used a lot of like doilies and stuff to make her backgrounds, and it was really beautiful. And it kind of reminds me of that. Random, I know, sorry. And the Queen of Wands. She's got her cat, she's got her flowers, she's even got a little like stick in her hair with a sprout coming out of it, and then her wand has a flower on top. So that's pretty awesome, pretty nice queen. And then the King of Wands. He's got flowers in his tree. He's got his, is it a salamander that's usually on the King of Wands? I can't remember. It looks a little bit more like a chameleon here, but I do really like that inclusion of the more traditional symbolism. Okay. Next, we're on to the Ace of Swords. I really like the coloring. And then the Two of Swords. Very, kind of standard Two of Swords. You still get that sense of balance and concentration and focus and all that good stuff. And then we have the Three of Swords. The Four of Swords. This one has more of the broken mirror look to it just because of the actual window in the background. The Five of Swords. I really like this take on the Five of Swords. It's very interesting how the two figures are kind of in an arena of sorts. And one guy is the victor and the other not. I don't know. I don't want to call him a failure. Guess I'm too soft, but let's see. Okay, the Six of Swords. And this one is much more standard, Six of Swords. The Broken Mirror Tarot Six of Swords was quite different. Not really sure what they were going for with that one, but the Seven of Swords. And I like this one, how the swords almost seem to be following him of their own free will, just kind of floating along there. Maybe he's using psychic powers, or they are using psychic powers to kind of steal. I don't know, looked kind of masculine to me, but All right, so then we have the Eight of Swords. And again, very standard Eight of Swords. Nothing amazing or worth writing home about. I really love this Nine of Swords. Since sometimes I read the Nine of Swords as stressing over things beyond your control. And something about him kind of weeping or covering his face, and it could be, again, could be they or them or she or her, covering their face, kind of looking like they're weeping before the swords. You really get that sense of worrying about things beyond your control with this card, and I really like that. And then, of course, the Ten of Swords, which is very similar to the Ten of Swords in the Sambucus Tarot, where you have that, are they being stabbed or are their clothes being stabbed kind of look to it, which I really like because that leaves you some flexibility for how you interpret it, and it's also not as intense as traditional Ten of Swords imagery. And then, of course, we have the Page, which I really like. I love how the eye of the bird kind of looks like the eye of the figure, and the bird almost looks like it could be part of a headpiece, but also looks like it's flying freely. I just think that is so awesome. And the patterning, like tattoos on the figure's arm or some sort of unique garment, just very well done. And this is probably my favorite Knight of Swords of all time, because I love centaurs. And here he is, charging forward, your typical Knight of Swords. So you don't have a horse per se, but you do have the hint of a horse in the figure, in the card. So the Queen of Swords, I love how she's balancing her sword instead of the usual upright. She's balancing it in a more unique way. And I love how the butterflies, like her face covering is a butterfly, which I think is really cool. So again, you have a lot of that traditional symbolism here, just used in an entirely different manner, which I really like. And also the way she's kind of rooted here, I find that very interesting. Kind of a unique, and here we have the same sort of motif in the King of Swords, where he's kind of, looks like he's kind of rooted here too. I guess you certainly get that sense of having structure and support, authority, maybe. Okay, so now we have the Ace of Cups. And just like with the last one in the Broken Mirror Tarot, we have the beautiful water lilies. And we have the Two of Cups. I really like the coloring on this one, again, is much more in line with the standard Sambucus Tarot. Again, I think the sky was probably a green or something in this one. The standard version is not as dark. It's much more brightly colored. And I don't think it comes with the same awesome edging that this one did. So, and then we have the Three of Cups. I like the inclusion of the pumpkins, even though it's a little random. It's a unique touch. I always appreciate that. And then we have the Four of Cups. I really like how peaceful and meditative he looks. And then the Five of Cups. The Six of Cups. And this one is much more traditional, whereas in the Broken Mirror Tarot, I didn't really get where it was going with the Six of Cups imagery. It didn't really make sense to me. But this one is, very familiar, very Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. The same with the Seven of Cups. And I really love the fashion sense of the people in this deck. They wear a lot of cute clothing, I have to be honest. The Eight of Cups, again, a much more traditional Eight of Cups here, with the figure having all their affairs in order and moving on from the past into the future, into a new path. The Nine of Cups, again, very traditional, very Rider-Waite-Smith, just a gender swap, it seems. And then the Ten of Cups. Were you surprised? The Ten of Cups came after the Nine of Cups, I know. Pretty revolutionary. Pretty standard. Ten of Cups. Page of Cups. I really like this. It's so playful and fun and energetic. And then the Knight of Cups. So again, he's not really riding the horse, but you get the equivalent of it. So I'm okay with that. I love it. The Queen of Cups. I really love this one. The colors are very beautiful. If the deck were not so expensive, I might consider getting the standard edition just to have both, because the collector in me would like to have both. But the King of Cups. But I just, I don't have a lot of money to spend on tarot decks and so on. So I have to be choosy where possible. Okay. So then we have the Ace of Coins. It's very beautiful. I really like, they're so simple, but they're also so beautiful, those flowers. Then the Two of Coins, very traditional, but, still a unique take on the scene itself. So I really like it. The Three of Coins. The scroll in the figure's hands there look really beautiful and luminous. The Four of Coins. So this one, compared to the Broken Mirror Tarot, this one certainly conveys the Four of Coins, very much more clearly, I think. Since the other one with the woman carrying the chest, she could have anything in that chest. It doesn't have to be her money. Then we have the Five of Coins. The Six of Coins. Not a whole lot going on there, just the usual. The Seven of Coins. The Eight of Coins. Again, I really like the outfits. The Nine of Coins. And the 10. Then we have the page. I love how his coin is kind of sprouting, very similar to the Page of Wands. And then the Knight of Coins, so he is not on a horse, but it makes sense since the Knight of Coins is much more either slow moving or rooted energy. And the kind of hovering platform that he's on there, you know, we don't know what speed it's moving at, but if we use his cloak there as like a gauge, it's probably not moving quickly, if it's moving at all. Then we have the Queen of Coins. I really love this queen. She is so beautiful. You know, the Queen of Coins did not used to be a card that I felt was important to me in my tarot decks, but then she started coming up in a lot of readings, like reading after reading after reading after reading. And I really got to know her and what her energy means. And now I absolutely adore the Queen of Coins. So, and then of course we have the King of Coins. And I really like the kind of hovering thrones that they have, the kind of futuristic high-tech look to them. So anyway, that will do it for the Sambucus Tarot. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, maybe consider subscribing. Also, let me know your thoughts on the deck. Do you have it? Would you get it based on this video? Which, by the way, I will have links to where I got it down below. And before I continue, I ordered mine on Etsy from Tevada, but you can also find them at their personal website here, tevadatarot.com. They are wonderful. They have been amazing. Right, anyway, as I was saying, do you have the deck? Would you consider getting the deck? Do you have the standard or the limited version? Which version do you like better and why? Please do, you know, if you have any thoughts or anything to add to the conversation, please let me know in the comments down below. I would enjoy reading them. And as always, if you enjoyed this, I hope that I will see you again in a future video. So until then, take care.